shares to allow our friends to participate in our venture. Again, all we want to do is show people return on investment. In all types of these types of financing here, what you need is a business plan. Again, in lesson 22, what we do is show you step by step how to do up this business plan. But in a business plan, the bottom line is showing people return on investment. Anyone who's done a business plan and anyone who's been in business, I can tell you, this is the business plan here, and the business goes in the total opposite direction. It's really only a tool to convince your investors how they're going to get a return on investment. So here we're going to first look at our friends. They may not have the guts to be their own boss or start their own business, so they have $10,000, $15,000 sitting in the bank. The interest rate just dropped again on Thursday. They're only making 2% interest on their money now. So we can show them how to make 10%. They'll be more than happy. But we're going to butter them up. We're going to give them some equity, say 5% of the company, and they're also going to share the profits of the company at the end of the year. So as long as you can show them a better return that they're currently making, they may have the money in a mutual fund. So we're going to have to show them a 20% return. Believe me, in a small business, you can show 300–400% and you still repay it. Bottom line is showing these people how they get a better return than what they're currently getting right now. And they can share it in their own part of the company. An angel is similar to your friend. So on a handshake, he's a self-made entrepreneur. He's got money lying around, and basically he'll give you the kind of money that you're looking for. If you find them, let me know where they are. The second one here is venture capitalists. So when you put your money into these mutual funds or into these banks or credit unions, trust companies, insurance companies, in order for them to give you a certain return, you basically they're taking risk. They need a higher return. That's what we call venture capitalists. Some of them like to take control of companies. Other ones are strictly looking for a return on their investment. Similar like we talk about buying a business itself. They're not necessarily interested in taking over the company. They just want a good return for their investment in a certain time frame to be repaid. So venture capitalists here, it used to be they won't touch anything for less than $1 million, but because they used to invest into these blue chip companies who average 9, 10, 12% return. But that's nothing today in terms of return. So what you have to look, what they've gone down to is looking at some new industries, new startups itself. And this is where a new company can realize growth of 1 to 500% in the first 2 or 3 years. Where a blue chip company, they're at a mature stage there. They can grow at 10% at a time. The returns are just not there. So many times what these venture capitalists realize over 5 to 10 years, they're going as low as $50,000. But the ultimate plan is to bring it to $1 million corporation itself. But they don't give you this lump sum $1 million right away. They'll start off with, say, $20,000 to do a feasibility study. And based on your business plan, you're going to show how the money is going to be spent. You might have to do just research at the state. Then you might have to make a product and buy it and do some equipment. Later on, you may have to open up some branch office. So you're going to show how this money is going to be used. But bottom line here is showing these guys how they're going to get a return on their investment. A lot of them have different operating philosophies. Like I said, some like to take control, but more specifically, these guys have expertise in areas of business. Just like you want to get into something you enjoy doing. Same with these guys. They're not going to invest into a business like environmental, where their main expertise is in pollution or something. So again, you have to look at where their expertise is, and it's matchmaking these venture capitalists. Some might just invest into high tech, or just into software, or what have you. Okay, so what you need to know is where to find these venture capitalists. At the Institute, we have a directory called Index Source of Fund, and it'll matchmake with the kind of people you're looking for. Another one here is the Federal Business Development Bank. What they do for $200, they have an online database, and what they're going to do is matchmake with the kind of business or product that you're involved with to a venture capitalist interested in investing from that type of company. Another one is the Federal Chambers of Commerce, and they have a program called COIN. Again, it's an online database. It costs about $200, but it's definitely worth if you're looking for $1 million or $10 million. Bottom line is showing them how they can get a better return on investment than some of the ones that they're investing into right now. Limited partnerships, again, these usually the only way to get into business today. Sometimes it might be a guy who might be here on a visa, who needs to invest $250 million to get his visa here. So he's looking to invest in his venture to get his visa. It's a drop in the bucket for him, but basically it allows you to get your own business. In exchange, you're going to provide what they call equity, sweat equity. So he owns 50% of the company because he's putting the injection of cash flow, but you're going to have to work this business in order to own the other half of it. Okay? A lot of times what happens if you need $50,000, you have a friend who's interested in opening up this business. You might be strong in sales and marketing, and he or she is strong in accounting and operations. By joining together in forces, you can start your own business. So the limited partnerships you can structure. Understand there are very strict securities laws in how you issue shares for people to participate. In the Blueprint Lesson 23, again, we show you step by step how to issue the shares, how much to price these shares, when you should buy them back, and again, because you're looking at what we call, say, preferred shares, if you don't want to lose control at the early stage and then issue common shares at a later stage to gain back the control. But also how many people you can have participate in this venture. If you go over that limit, I can be sure enough that the Securities Commissions can climb down, if not shut you down there. Okay, so again, there's very little information from a Canadian perspective showing you how to do this, but we do this and we show this in the blueprint. So to sum up what we've done this afternoon, in the first part of the morning we showed you how to get set up and registered in your own business. Again, don't overlook at some of these 10 basic steps, because this is where we see entrepreneurs making the big mistakes. Understand there's a migration path for your business to expand and grow. So when you choose that name, make sure it identifies the long-term growth of that business itself. Then what we try to do is show you some different ways of getting into a business. I hope you know now that there are other ways to make money. So again, retail might be the one for you, but look at some of these other options. No question you can make money in all these opportunities. As long as you get into something you enjoy doing, as long as you get started and you don't quit, you should be successful. And then what we try to end it up here, there are these 7 steps of profit. Again, don't forget these 7 steps, because it's going to take you 3 to 5 projects before you find that one product that can make you successful. Whether it takes 3 to 5 businesses or 3 to 5 products, as long as you get started and you don't quit, you will be successful here. So again, these 7 steps, it's going to go through all the time. As long as you learn these 7 steps, you should have no problem. But to sum up, again, everything I covered today, I know I talked very fast, and I apologize for that, but everything is covered in detail in the blueprint manuals here. And I forgot to mention, what you do get is this home study program. There's 8 hours of listening material here. It's presented by Richard Stacey, and he can actually present it much better than I could. He makes some of the most complex marketing and advertising strategies so simple to understand. And that's what you have to understand. This program, we're talking about some complex strategies, but we present it in a very straightforward manner. The more that you can digest it, it's written that anyone with at least a grade 8 education can understand. There's lots of jokes put in there just to entertain you. So it's not like a dry textbook that you normally would get in the university or in a bookstore itself. But there's 8 hours, and normally we recommend that you start off using tapes, because this will give you a good overview of what kind of business you get into, but also where to focus your time and energy in the manuals. Again, there's 2,000 pages in this manual, so it's not something you read cover to cover, because it takes about 20 minutes to 30 minutes for each lesson. But here, if you were to even photocopy this each page, it's going to be more than the cost of the program. But there's about 200 different letters in there that you can use verbatim with your letterhead and stationery. Again, some strategies on how you can get free products. Just by learning how to use that letter, we can give you some free samples. Different letters on inquiring about product and business opportunities. All kinds of letters on, say, becoming a franchisee. So they're all the letters that you need. But this gives you an idea of who's back in this organization. Now, when Richard started this organization, he is the president. He's become a millionaire as a result, but he also has gone into some other businesses. He's still active in the Small Business Institute. I happen to be one of the 30 entrepreneurs who got in on early stages and done the research and putting this program together. But this is a program that was put together by entrepreneurs. It's not government employees who have never been in business themselves. We're giving you information that people have used and has worked for them here. But again, the second person here is Lord Charles Cottingham. He works out of the UK. He uses a program called Wave World Trade. This is actually the oldest course teaching people how to get started import-export. We have the North American rights for that program in Canada and the United States. But in less than 1920, from a Canadian perspective, we can show you step-by-step how to get involved with import-export. Bob Paula, he's the one who actually does our seminars on import-export here in Canada. But he was one of the pioneers in Toronto, showing people in franchising. He used to have a shoe repair store. He had over 60 successful units before he sold up and he started working for the government. And he started the first business seminars for the government. But right now, every 3rd Tuesday of the month, he does seminars on import-export if you're interested. Evelyn Jacks, if you go to any bookstore right now, over the past 6 years, she's had the #1 selling book on taxes, both for personal and for business. She does the whole tax part of the book here. But herself as a businesswoman, she has over 40 successful franchisees. What she does is sell franchises. It's called U&R Taxes, similar to H&R Block, where they help you do your tax returns. Ken Fu, he's our contact in the Far East if you're looking to source and you need research. Again, if you're importing products in the Far East, you may want to take advantage of the government trade rep, but we actually have a contact right in the Far East or in the UK that can help you do research and make sure that you're dealing directly with the manufacturer. Because many times they're going to have people just like you just starting, placing ads in some of these magazines. So if you can't afford to go over there, at least we have a contact there who can investigate for you. Howard Rose, he's the founding member of the Association for Franchisors. And understand, in Canada, there's no legislation dealing with franchise. Anybody today can go and start selling a franchise. So what he done in the early 1970s, they put together a team of franchisors and designed a certain rules and codes of ethics that they should all follow. So when you investigate a franchise, you want to make sure at least they're a member of this association. He's also our in-house legal counsel. And the last one here is Herb DeJordy. I gave you that little article written by Judy Nyman that gives you all these little sources and contacts. But for the past 5 years, Herb DeJordy used to do this article in the Toronto Star, and since then he's gotten involved in a couple other ventures. But he's taken this blueprint program now and introduced it to a lot of different universities and colleges. It's now available and being taught at the University of Windsor, at UBC out west itself, but even locally here in Toronto through Ryerson and through Centennial College. So now for the first time, these strategies that I'm talking about are being taught in the university with actually recognition, and you get a diploma or degree at the end of it. But you yourself, when you start your own business, you need your own tools. As much as I try to give you this information here, just like if you're a carpenter or a dentist, really to be in business, you need your own tools. So this would be an investment to get you started here. It's an investment in knowledge, and like we said, it's a return on investment. It's going to save you thousands of dollars in savings, whether it's on some of these contracts, on tax strategies, arming yourself with different financing strategies, marketing strategies. But the main thing here is when you're in business, really you need your own tools here. But this is sum up with the program. Again, it comes with a 21-day money-back guarantee. And the main thing here, all we're asking you to do is try out this program. After 21 days, if you're not happy and it's not everything you thought it was, you can simply return it for a full refund and no questions asked. Again, we have over 80,000 people taking this program. The return rate, is very low because we ourselves know we have a good product. But to give you that support that you're going to need is 1 year's business consulting. That's the main part of our organization. It's not so much the material, because you can access this material, but it's having a consultant at your disposal. And this is throughout the week, Monday to Friday, unlimited to use. You can call by the phone, you can send by fax or correspondence. Usually it's a 24-hour response rate. But if you live local, you also have access to the Canadian Small Business Institute Library. So you can come in here and do some research, go through some back issues of different trade magazines, different business directors, just familiarize yourself before you actually start your own business. But in the manuals here, we give you all those addresses and contacts. And I'll tell you, there's hundreds and hundreds of different addresses and contacts. Again, this is the most up-to-date version. So although it's all from a Canadian perspective, but we realize there are a lot of people who want to do business in the U.S. and UK. So in this version, we've added all the U.S. and the UK government and business equivalents where you would register and who you would contact in those types of countries. But again, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I hope you enjoyed the seminar and you learned something. But if you are still interested, and I want to thank everyone, some of those who have already become members, I welcome you aboard, and I'll probably see you at the next month's meeting. But if you can talk to Kyle or Perry at the back and you still want to get started, you still will save $100 at this time. But if you wait until next week or tomorrow, if you come to the seminar tomorrow, we'll still honor that discount. But if you wait until Monday, I can't, because this is how we keep our costs down to our members. But again, I'll stay here to answer any questions on the topics we've covered here. But again, I'll be here for as long as it takes to answer all your questions.
Shell camera.